Everybody knows the people on the left of an argument hate the people on the right, and the people on the right hate the people on the left. But you know what they both agree with? Hating the person in the center. That's right. That's me. I'm the center. Hi, this is Vermin. And today we're going to be looking at Drinkers Chasers. The Boys finale was a disaster. Oh no, not a disaster. Let's see why.
Been seeing a bunch of posts about how this is the one finale that, unlike Stranger Things and Game of Thrones and all this other stuff, people are mad, but they can't even blame it on plot holes. They have to admit they just don't like being made fun of. They don't like blah blah blah. And this, and I was like, wow, this is the one you choose to say that about? It's just nonsense throughout the entire thing.
There's even thought, yeah, like even
Nonsense.
me playing catch up, I was like, there is so many fucking questions about what's going on here that just makes no sense.
I get bored watching them nerf the shit out of Homelander whenever it's time for him to lose. I already knew that was going to happen ultimately.
So he knew that was going to happen. Obviously. You don't set up an unbeatable character and then get to the end and not beat him. Like, what would be the point of writing a story? You know what I'm saying? And he knows that. So why is he complaining?
But like, what is the premise of this show if we strip it down to very, very specific basics and we don't even include the specific character motivations, right? It's like evil Superman. Okay, yeah, why is that scary? It's like, well, if a guy has the powers of Superman but also doesn't care about anyone but himself and has the power to do whatever he wants, like that's kind of scary. It's like, but so is it game over? It's like, well, he can't be everywhere all at once. Maybe he doesn't want to destroy the whole world. And so if a group of guys had the intention of killing him and his team of evil superheroes, how would they do it? And you start watching the first season, and the first episode gives you an insight of like, well, there was this dude called Translucent, had like a invisibility power, and he had a shell around him that made him borderline invulnerable, but they eventually shoved fucking C4 up his ass and blew him from inside out, exploded him. And you're like, oh shit, and there's an effort for that over the course of the first two episodes, and it's like,
First
oh, is
season
that the
was really
show?
good.
We're gonna have to like gradually get through all of these like demonic versions of heroes you're familiar with, like the Flash or fucking Batman or whatever have you, but it's all these like horrible versions. And maybe do some other storytelling along the way until we finally at the end of the show get to Homelander and we put everything we've learned and known to defeat him in a very hard fought battle. And it's like, no, we're going to invent at some point that there's just an ability to take powers away from people, and then he's going to beg for his life, suck cock, eat shit, and die.
Yeah, because I was kind of, again, I was having to play catch up with this. So
Like, what else are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to just not make a freaking show? Like, what are we supposed to watch then? No shows will be made. Anyways, let's continue.
Soldier Boy had the ability to like shoot a kind of beam out of himself, a beam of energy that would like nuke any superhuman that's caught in its blast radius, right? It would like remove your powers basically, because you'd been exposed to some kind of radiation that gave him that ability. And so they transplant that into Kimiko, and she can do it if she gets really angry.
She can just do it. Not a like that was the idea, is that she could do it because if she's angry she can do it. But then she like they fix that later because she like realizes like Frenchie comes back from the dead and he's like, hey, Soldier Boy may need to use his rage, but you don't have to. You can find another emotion to tap into. Yeah. One good argument against Soldier Boy's blast and Kimiko's blast is, shouldn't that amount of radiation, instead of, why does it just target the V? Like, that part doesn't make sense. That's a good argument. Why doesn't it just like give him cancer? Although I suppose we never saw anyone long-term effects. Maybe they got lung COVID from the radiation.
And so they test it on like, what the fuck is her name again? The woman who's like the smartest person on the planet.
Sister Sage.
Sister Sage.
Yeah, Sister Sage.
Sage and Onion. Yeah.
So she just gets blasted with it and immediately becomes retarded, and then that's her. Like she's quite happy with that. So she goes off to Harry Potter land or whatever.
Yep.
And
she's supposed to be like the key to getting that plot even to work. So the whole thing they've got is just stick Kimiko in a room and blast her with the radiation. But they didn't know the exact precise dose, and it took the Russians ages to fiddle with a dial, I guess, and get the precise right dose. So she sort of almost helps them out with it. I just remember thinking it's quite funny. Like she's being blasted with radiation, and 2 seconds later they open the door, and then someone goes in and just carries her out of the room. So you're going to die if you keep doing it. Not her. She's fine. You, person who is not a superhero, should not be entering a fucking radioactive room carrying out an irradiated person every 2 seconds. But they seem to forget how radiation works. But she sort of helps them.
That is actually a good point. I've never heard of this guy. The Little Platoon, fellow VTuber. Never heard of him. Oh yeah, no, this is Critical Drinkers channel. You know, critical drinking's often compared to like right-wing MAGA. He's not even fucking American, so shut the fuck up about that. Mahler, I don't know. Same with all of this guys, I guess. I don't know these three. I've seen Mahler video before, I think. I don't know the Little Platoon. I don't know Dark Hour. I don't know Kung Fu Hot Dog. It's funny they all talk with this British accent and makes them sound so much smarter than their arguments. Maybe I should try that. What was I saying? Radiation Platoon. What was this? What were we talking about?
Not a superhero, should not be entering a fucking radioactive room carrying out an irradiated person every 2 seconds. But they seem to forget how radiation works.
Yes.
But she's
Well, if you write radiation in the show, like, it's radiation. Where's the fun in that? Radiation's not fun. Like, there's side effects to everything. So it's like, what you just don't, you want them to take it out? Do you have an idea for something they could replace it with? Like, are you a writer? Everyone that complains, it's always like, oh, don't do this. Or they say, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Yeah, I mean, it's that simple. We probably shouldn't watch as much TV as we do. I'm not permanently online. Like, I'm not, but I'm online quite a lot. But yeah, like, all these people complain like they've written their own shows and like they know, like they're the best writers. Like, I digress.
Sort of helps them get ultimately this thing to work at the cost of Frenchie's life, and then
I think ignoring radiation is worth the story. Like Frenchie going in there and like consoling her, I think that's better than not having that at all. What, you want to watch a show where she gets irradiated and then they spray the whole room with water and then they wait a couple 100 years for the radiation to dissipate and then they go in there and get her? Like, you know what I'm saying?
And then Kimiko gets this power.
Also, I'm sure it's not just radiation. There's probably a chemical formula that they gave her before, because they all talk about like trying to crack. I don't think the Vought notes said, just keep blasting them with radiation. I know that's what they said, but I mean, there's a reason he needed Sister Sage for it. It's not like he's like, oh my god, I can't figure this out. Sister Sage, tell me what to do. You know? Like,
uses it on Sister Sage, and then she becomes, well, the show seems to think this is the moment at which Sister Sage becomes dumb, but she's been dumb all the way through.
She has been dumb all the way through. That's the whole point, is she's been dumb the whole way through because she doesn't like being smart. She's sick of it. Sometimes I can relate. I'm not that smart, though. But she literally lobotomizes herself so she can be stupid all the time. And the further we progress in the show, like, she's already doing that when you meet her, but the further we go into the show and the more people rely on her, the more she lobotomizes herself. It's like anytime she gets time to herself, pop, right in through the eyeball. Or the nose.
An example, I suppose, of a smart character written by dumb people. Like, they think that she's smart, but what she does
no. Drinker, when we meet her...
Writing a smart character just requires forethought. You don't have to be smart to write a smart character. Like, I understand the sentiment. Like, oh, I don't know what smart is. I have no point of context. They're writing about superheroes. Are any of the writers superheroes? Are any of the writers the president of the United States? Are any of the writers freaking anything but a writer? Like, I don't know.
The house is full of books.
Mm.
So
Oh well, that means she's like clearly
that's,
intelligent. Then.
I'm pretty sure books are smart things. I think that's what smart people do.
I
so.
mean, because the radiation thing, just they play fast and loose with that. Like, they're like, at one point, Huey's got a Geiger counter, and he's like just scanning Kimiko, and he's like, "Well, yeah, we're all absorbing large amounts of radiation, but never mind." Anyway, moving on. Like that seems like it's really gonna kill you or give you cancer or something. Don't you want to do something? Nah, it's fine. Don't worry. It's like, okay, sure.
I think the frustration as well. Oh, sorry.
No, after you.
I was going to say, I think the frustration with a lot of fans is that season 3 and 4 clocked more views than the previous seasons of The Boys. So the biggest question is, why am Amazon pumping more money into this than Rings of Power? And
If anything, Sister Sage's name is Taco Bell. What's the word? Taco Bell product placement girl or lady, whatever.
then what you get basically is what you got in this final season
Oh,
Well,
I'm
it's,
so sorry I cut you off, dude.
I guess from their perspective,
What'd you say?
is what you into this than Rings of Power. And then what you get
Oh.
clocked more views than the previous seasons of The Boys. So the biggest question is,
Yeah, why
why
you
am
mad?
Amazon pumping more money into this than Rings of Power? And then what you get basically
'Cause no one's
is
watching
what you
Rings
got
of
in this
Power.
final season.
well,
From what I understand, nobody likes Rings of Power, and that's why. I'm sure The Boys gets a lot more views than Rings of Power. I'm sure there's people out there that like Rings of Power. I'm not really a Tolkien person. Like, to me, I see The Lord of the Rings as that one character described it in Clerks 2. Just walking. That's all it is. It's just even the fucking trees walk. You know what I'm saying? Not for me. Not my cup of tea. It's alright. I watched it. It was fine. Don't hate it. Don't like it. Not for me.
it's I guess from their perspective, like The Boys is the closest thing they've got to like a mainstream cultural breakthrough. You know, season 1 really did make an impact, and so
Yeah.
Fair.
you know, unlike Rings of Power, which was just like a laughing stock immediately, season 1 of The Boys, I still hold that up as being really fucking good TV. I liked it. I liked the characters. I liked what they were doing. It's subversive in a good way at the time. Season 2, there was a bit of a drop off in terms of writing quality, and I think you could see how it was becoming much more on the nose politically. But okay, fine, you can still put up with it. By season
Yeah, I feel like when you're writing, you have something to say. Like, the reason you become a writer is because you have something to say. So you write season 1. And that says pretty much everything you had to say. You lay it out. In case, God forbid, your show gets canceled, then what? That's why season 1s are usually always, like, I know there's some bad season 1s out there, but they give it their all. And they hire the best writers and, you know, best crew, everything. So you get the opportunity to do a season 2.
3, I was just like getting
Hopefully.
so fucking bored with it, and yeah, like
Well-
I don't know, I noped out.
They had plenty of source. Like, they could have gone the way of the comics, which they didn't. I'm aware of that. I personally haven't read the comics. I look forward to reading them because, you know, the show is pretty good. I like that. But, yeah.
Out at that point. It wore me down. I think it was all the like not debauchery, but just like it's toilet humor of like the worst variety, where it's like, okay, how many dicks can we see explode? How many like gory moments can we have? And it's not even entertaining after a certain point. It's just
Oh my
exhausting.
god, it's
Yeah,
always
how
entertaining.
exciting.
It's always entertaining. Who doesn't fucking love a dick or butt or vagina joke? It's funny. Dude, just why are you taking yourself so seriously? But yeah, like I don't agree with that sentiment. Like, does it get stale after a while? Maybe, but like, there's only so much you can talk about.
The guy with the giant extendable penis flailing around. So I've seen that guy so many times.
Man
It's like, it
meets.
was kind of
Simultaneous-
half funny once, and now it isn't.
Yeah.
So probably the reason why is the early
Yeah, the guy with the giant hog, hilarious. But the thing about hilarity is the spontaneity of it. If you live with it, it's no longer funny. But you got to think back to the time when it was something novel. Otherwise we wouldn't be entertained by anything anymore. I think that's why the internet's like full of like surprise, this, new that. Everyone's just chasing their next like novel idea.
earlier in the show you go, the more close to the source material it is. They get further away as you go along. And the great irony is that so they turn Black Noir into a completely different character. In the comic, he is actually a clone of Homelander. He's a deranged clone that was
Right.
used as a
Spoilers.
contingency plan. So
Yes.
there's almost like a message in there that you can only replace evil with greater evil. The whole thing is really, it was actually a relatively smart deconstruction in the comic form.
Yeah.
And then they just started going very political, current political, I should say, with the route. And it just, to the point where this is completely
guess.
made up. This ending has nothing to do with anything. And that's so not only will people who enjoyed the books be completely upset, it also, like Mahler said, it there's no payoff for what was even set up early on.
This one pissed me off as well. Actually, Frenchie's just like
Oh,
I thought that
Then
was
he saw
funny.
everyone's butthole. It's like, again,
thought that was
it
endearing.
labors the joke so fucking long. It's like, okay, this guy's just passed away. Like, can you not even have a funeral scene and just give us a little like genuine?
They're comrades. They're like, dude, come on. You're not gonna make jokes at your friend's funeral? Like, if he would have wanted to. And that's not even you making friends at your friend's funeral. That's you reading what your friend wrote while he was alive. It's a celebration, if anything.
Poignant moment. It's like, nah.
Yeah.
got
Are they
turned
making
into a
fun of
joke.
French people being voyeurs and into a-holes? And that's what you read at the eulogy. Poor Huey, then he had to do a better version at the end for the other people.
No, what it
No, it was meant to bring them together with some, call it shared trauma. It's meant to be shared trauma.
would feel like is like that would be a one-line gag. Like, okay, he injects a tiny little bit of humor to add a bit of levity to a really solemn situation, but then the bulk of his note is actually serious. You know,
Yeah.
they could have done that. They didn't. They kept this unfunny gag
No.
going way too long, and
It's Frenchie. Do you not understand the character of Frenchie? Or like, did you even watch the show?
I don't know. It just feels emblematic of so much of the humor that I saw in this episode and this show, where it's just what's the most base, like simplistic bit of toilet humor or whatever we can throw in there.
I thought it
What
was
is
funny.
the name of like the sort of chief of staff in the White House? I can't remember the fucking character's name. The girl who rips her hair out all the time and she's like the psychic one.
Yeah.
Ashley?
Yeah.
I think that's the one. Yeah, and like again, like every piece of her dialogue is like calling someone a cunt or like
Yeah.
making clit jokes or like he's gonna rip my tits out through my vag, and I'm like,
Vag.
what human talks like this?
That human talks like this. She is specifically written to be that way. That is her whole character. Besides the psychic stuff. Like, what? What is this argument?
It's not
But
even
it's sort of,
funny.
even Butcher has that problem, like having become really just this flanderized version of himself. He was like one of the more interesting elements of season one in particular, and you can sort of see they sort of kept going even the way through the bad seasons, basically 2 onwards. Is that you're still setting him up to be like the antithesis, but also the same, the mirror to Homelander. and the lengths he's prepared to go to get his extreme vengeance that he's motivated to go on. The show sort of at some
This guy
point
needs
just
to
kind of
tweak his
bakes this
sensitivity.
in and stops trying to do anything with it and just reduces him to this vaguely cockney swear machine. And makes one of its more interesting dynamic components kind of redundant. But that's basically true of every character. Like, as soon as you start looking at one character and saying, yeah, you're just a Flanderized parody version of your season one self, then you look at another character, the same thing happens. And it is sort of brought out in that funeral scene. It's used as the butt of a joke because, of course, you can joke about the death of one of your long-standing characters if you don't care about them. And Kripke doesn't really care about these characters. He doesn't really care about the show as a show. His ambitions for storytelling, if he ever had them, disappeared roughly like midway through season 2. I think one of the writers on season 1 was not brought back as well, and had some fairly good credits to his name. And ever since then, it's just become like, how can I contrive a way for these characters to tell this extremely current day joke, which is going to date terribly and quite often will break the show. Like, so there's a bit it is in the finale episode, right, where the richest guy in the world comes and he's
Hold on, he said something I want to comment on, and God, I have ADHD so bad, so I'm not gonna fucking remember.
these characters to tell this extremely current day joke, which is going to date terribly and quite often will break the show as well, and had some fairly good credit about these characters. He doesn't really care about the show as a show. His ambitions for storytelling, if he ever had them, disappeared roughly.
All right, I was gonna say, yeah, it did seem like he just wanted to get his supernatural buddies back together. That's a fair argument. But yeah, continue.
To tell this extremely current day joke.
Oh, another thing. I hate, and it's not just like The Boys. Like, I like The Boys. But it's not, I hate when shows change writers. I hate when video game companies change the people in charge of like writing and directing and creating. Like, it's not the same company anymore. I hate buyouts, like Disney buying Fox. It's not Fox anymore. It's Disney, and I know people understand that, but it's like it doesn't work that way in video games, because if you replace everyone in Naughty Dog, is it still Naughty Dog? This is like the ship of Theseus. It's like, how much can you replace of a thing before it's no longer that thing?
Which is going to date terribly and quite often will break the show. Like, so there's a bit it is in the finale episode, right, where the richest guy in the world comes and he's the richest guy in the world. He's a tech billionaire and he's an amateur astronaut and he wants to go to space and he wears a black hat. And it's like, okay, we're doing Elon. What
Elon? That was Elon?
clever thing can we do with Elon? Homelander whisks him away up to space in 3 seconds. So it's like, right, that's lazy as fuck. But you realize what you've done now, don't you? That means you can't trap Homelander in a room with people because you've established he can go basically 250,000 kilometers a second. You can't do this. Your joke is breaking your power scaling. Your joke is breaking your plot. And yet he did it without thought for what it would mean for the later fight scene. And so, of course, later, when the fight scene happens, he gets trapped in a room because he decides he can't move that quickly anymore.
He does try to escape multiple times and gets stopped by plot armor.
Are you referencing power scaling there, Platoon? I've heard that no one cares about that at all.
Can we talk about
you're an embarrassment.
Can we talk about the Deep as well? How he just like he's
Yeah, a cracking up the ass and out the mouth was not on my bingo card this year.
He's again supposed to be super powered. He's incredibly durable, very difficult to hurt normally. He just gets skull fucked by an octopus, I guess, and dies.
So
that's his end.
2 halves to that conversation are: one, why do you care? Which is obviously really fucking useless and annoying. The other half is,
yeah, why do you care? That doesn't help the argument. But sometimes there doesn't need to be an argument because, I mean, I'm a nihilist. Nothing fucking matters, dude. Just fucking enjoy whatever you can. And if you don't enjoy it, don't watch it. Yeah, doesn't help the argument. Well, no one's holding a gun to your head and telling you, hey, you need to watch TV. Otherwise, you can't talk to anybody.
Actually, he died the same way Translucent did. The octopus got inside him and killed him, and that's how you can kill all these soups. And I was like, oh, Talk about fucking media literacy. Translucent wasn't a super duper creature inside, only the shell outside and allowed him to be invisible. The
Who said that?
Deep went to the Mariana Trench. He cannot be squishy on the inside with a shell. He'd be dead. He has to be incredibly durable throughout the whole. I hate to put it this way, but the boys, fucking Eric Kripke, would love me putting it this way. His anus would be fucking the tightest, tighter than a vault. Like it would be the most incredibly. An octopus has no chance.
That's fair.
And then of course,
against that anus.
the weird thing as well is he's got Aquaman powers. He can like super speed swim.
That
That's what I was going to say as well. Like,
That's a good argument. Why did he swim regular? From getting blasted with Starlight's power, maybe? I don't know.
why is
like
he
a moron.
floundering around, like trying to swim like a regular human? I thought he could, like glide through the water. But yeah,
So
it's
again,
like, it's convenient.
nothing.
He did get blasted into the water by Starlight, and he feels regret / is scared of the creatures of the sea. So maybe they had some sort of psychological thing that made him swim slow and his asshole open.
Makes sense with what they've told us throughout this whole show, and it's just like, oh, it's just power scaling shit. Who cares? They're all dead. And you're like, nothing means anything then. Why should I care?
Hey, there's a sentiment I can get behind. Nothing means anything. Welcome to Nihilism 101.
Yep.
Yeah, like why can't a regular person just like blast a fucking atomic bomb from their eyes or something? Like if we don't
Because they don't have V.
care about power scaling anymore.
People were asking if the octopus had V. I don't think the
Superpowered
octopus
octopus.
had V.
I mean,
Because
just to go back
you'll
to
be
that,
It was a goddamn kraken.
told several times, and I'm sure everyone here has been told, and everyone who's ever talked about the boys will have been told this many times. It's like, you just don't like it because it's making fun of a politician you like. It's like, but I seem to be doing a bit more media analysis than you are in this situation.
Whatever happened to suspense of disbelief? I feel like that doesn't exist these days anymore. Everything has to, make sense solidly. Like, what happened to imagination?
Like, I actually want, when I again, absolutely fine for you to kill Homelander in any way you've written to justify. But I can't see him go to space in 3
Crowbar to
seconds
the head.
and then
Pretty
see him flying at 2 meters a second when he goes in the final fight scene. That just breaks my immersion. I know he can escape this, and the show is lying to me when it tells me that he can't.
Well,
I'm trying to judge this as a work of art first and foremost. I don't really care if it tells
was your
jokes about
first
any
mistake, then.
politician. I know.
This is me justifying it, and I'm well aware that it's stupid. Maybe when he's trying to fly away and what's his son's name? Jack? John? Fuck, I can't believe. The show's over and I've already forgotten everybody's name. Ryan. Yeah. Maybe when he tries to fly away and Ryan stops him, maybe that was in slow motion. Ryan's pretty fast too.
They,
I mean,
something I find weird, right? Because they're hell bent on humiliation. So, we'll take Homeland's powers away from him and make him cry. That's so humiliating. It's like, this reminds me of the I'm the
Homelander's a little kid in a grown man's body with superpowers. What do you think was going to happen?
best card player ever. I'm a badass like cowboy type in some game or film because I cheat. And other people don't know. I'm always like, doesn't that undermine that? Doesn't it undermine the humiliation of Homelander that you couldn't defeat him while he had his powers? Like he was impossible. You couldn't find a way to defeat him in a way that like outsmarted him, or you used teamwork for lack of a better classic way.
I mean, Soldier Boy could have done something to him, and everyone complains. Oh, it's what Clara would have wanted. Yeah. Like, but then the show would have been over 2 episodes before the finale.
Wouldn't it? I wouldn't even mind getting the powers out of the picture eventually, but to not be able to defeat him ever while he had his powers, like, you know, the season 3 episode, they came close, and I thought that was just a setup. It's like, yeah, we just need enough people in the right way. They need to counter the flight. That's the main thing.
I mean,
It's like the old.
I feel as.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say as well. I feel
Maybe he was hesitant to break a hole on the ceiling of the Oval Office. Yeah, I don't know.
this isn't how Homelander would behave if you took his powers away. Like if he was in front of Butcher with his powers removed, I think he would just know that he's fucked. Like he's going to be killed, and there's no.
You want Homelander to man up and face his own death. Homelander, who sucks on titties for milk. Not even in a sexual way. He's a baby. He didn't get a chance to grow up. Like, I think he would have acted in the way he acted. Like, the whole point of him is like, what if you give a child superpowers and then let him grow up? It's like all these privileged people that go and they march against injustices, which they've never come up against because they grew up in a cushy fucking family. Like, it's the same thing. You don't grow up without struggle. Homelander was overpowered. He had no struggle. How do you think he would ever grow up?
Moment of begging, there's nothing he can offer him that's going to stop that from happening. I think he would realize that immediately. So what is even the point of that pathetic, like, begging and whimpering?
You know what it is.
He's a child.
It's the fantasy.
I know exactly what it is, yeah. And I guess, yeah, I suppose I should bring up.
These guys ever had a bully? Someone that just constantly bullied you until the day you're like, you know what? No more. I'm going to sock this kid in the face. And then nobody fucking bullies you after that. You think that kid that was a bully isn't going to break down and cry, oh, you hit me in the face? I mean, that goes for anyone. Anyone who talks shit and acts like a tough person, 99% of people who talk shit and act tough, if you hit them in the face, they're gonna cry. They're gonna be a little baby about it. You don't rage at people if you're not a fucking child or a person who can't control their emotions.
Up the quote, actually, because I think this made me sad in a way of, like...
If you derail a train, no matter how fast or how strong it is, if you derail it, it's eventually going to stop. Is it going to take everything along its path until it's done moving? Yes, but it's still going to crash.
Like, there's actors in this show who were doing a way better job than the fucking writers. Where it's Eric Kripke talking about Anthony Starr and his portrayal of Homelander. He said Starr's goal was never to create Homelander as a Donald Trump parody. Well, clearly, Kripke wouldn't have liked that, I guess. But I totally understand Ant's point of view. He's like, I'm not doing a caricature. I'm trying to create a character with a consistent internal life. Imagine that. Imagine an actor who just wants to play a character with an understandable personality and motivations. He says, and I absolutely agree and respect that, Kripke says, so we'll just work on purely internal logic and character motivation. Lies. And we won't bring Trump into it all that much. Well, that's a lie.
Well,
you don't think people are maybe projecting how they feel about Trump on Homelander because of what Homelander is doing versus what Trump is doing? Like, even if you love Trump, you can see some similarities if you don't have your head stuck up your ass.
the thing is, Anthony Starr was just sneaking in character, basically, throughout this whole show.
This was him carrying the show on his shoulders, like him and Carl Urban. But it's just like, when your actors are having to work against the writers to try and, like, preserve some semblance of character motivation and make it somewhat, like, understandable and believable, you got problems. And, yeah... I hate to say it, this fucking guy, just every interview, everything he talks about, it always comes back to Trump. It's like, that is probably the first thing he thinks about when he wakes up in the morning and the last thing he thinks about before he goes to sleep at night.
Well, we got
It's his
confirmation because
obsession.
he sent another tweet. I think Elon Musk basically said that the ending was pathetic, and then I think he went to Twitter and said, "Oh, it's the best review I could ever have got."
You mean
And
this
it's
one?
like, yeah, this looks like the one. I just cannot imagine it. Like, how do you live like this? How do you call yourself like an
That's
artist
funny.
or a writer if your soul, like this?
I don't mind Elon, but this brings up my point of the people who complain the most are the people complaining about people that complain the most.
Some of your creative ambitions is just, I want to piss off this chud today. It's so boring.
These are the same people that go, oh, everyone's so soft these days. They can't take criticism. They can't just laugh at themselves and go, ha ha, that's funny. That's what this is. Like, no offense, but hasn't Elon Musk saying how people are snowflakes and like that sort of sentiment?
It's not edgy. It's not funny. It's not clever. You're boring. You're so boring.
Been seeing a bunch of
Oh.
posts about.
You're so boring. That is weak. Weak sauce. And I only have one thing to say to everyone who complains about a TV show. And that is...
Okay, they're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all?
Right? Thanks for watching.